All right. Hey, y'all, Mr. Kyle, Myers Mathematics, and let's just jump right back into it. This is number 3 on Systems of Equations Word Problems, Kuta Software Infinite Algebra 1. And we're going to solve this problem together. We're flying to Kampala with a tailwind, and our plane is averaging 158 kilometers per hour. Whoever wrote this must have been from Canada or something, I guess. But it's all good. So 158 kilometers per hour. On the return trip, the plane only averaged 112 kilometers per hour. Huh, it's going slower. That's because it's traveling against the wind. Against the wind? So we're going to figure out the speed of the wind, and the speed of the plane in still air. Like what would the readings on the plane say if we were just looking at the readings of the plane and the plane was telling us that it was going a certain speed? Okay, so in order to do this, we need to set up some equations. And the equations we want to use are distance equals rate times time. Distance equals rate times time. Or you can call it the dirt formula, because dirt don't hurt. D-I-R-T, dirt. So distance, we don't know. Right, so distance we don't know, and this is on the way there, so we're just focusing right now on the way there. But the rate we know would be the plane, so we'll say P for plane, and it's going with the wind, plane and wind, with their powers combined, that would give you the rate. So that's the rate. And we actually know what that is, don't we? So we don't even need the distance formula, the distance equals rate times time formula, because we know what the speed is actually. So we already know what that formula is. So we don't know t either. We could find out what d and t are, but actually it looks like we're not going to need this. Normally for this kind of question, when you have a vehicle and you have the elements, wind, water, fire, or earth, then you have to do this kind of problem where you use distance equals rate times time. But actually, it looks like we don't even need to, because if this is the speed of the plane and the wind, then we could just write that down. So the plane and the wind together give you 158, and you don't need to write the units when you're setting up the equation. So looky there, we made it even easier. On the way back, you'd be traveling against the same wind. So the wind is still traveling in the same direction. But if you're trying to figure out how fast the plane's going, it would be the plane going however fast it's going. Okay? But if it's traveling against the wind, then it would be minus the wind. And that would equal 112 miles an hour. And now we can solve the equation. So we put the blue equation underneath the yellow. Because they're already set up for elimination, we don't need to tweak either of the formulas. We already have the W's are going to cancel out. If that didn't happen, then we would need to times one of the equations by like plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, something like that, so that we can get the variables to cancel. But the variables canceled, so we're good to go on that one. P plus P is 2P. And then that's 8 plus 2 is 10. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 1 plus 1 is 2. Divide by 2. P is equal to 2 over 2 is 1, and then half of 70 is 35. So the plane is going 135, and we want to use the same units, kilometers per hour. So the plane is going that fast in kilometers per hour. Then we can plug it in to the other side over here. And this was actually probably the least goodest place to plug it in, as you will probably see in a second, Because you would think like, oh, it's minus, so I do plus, but actually you would do minus because it's 135 minus 135. So that's kind of annoying. But if you had done it the other way around, where you put the yellow equation underneath the blue equation and then plugged it back into the yellow equation, it would be a lot easier. So just do that. Plug it into the plus equation. It's a lot easier than what I'm about to do. So then we do this, which is actually the opposite of 135 minus 112, which would be 23, but it's negative. So then W is equal to 23. All right, let's check that just to be sure. So we plug it into the yellow equation to check. We want to check the equation. Let's move this up a little bit. So in order to check, we plug it into the yellow equation. So P plus W, 158. Plug in our stiff, P and W. And let's see, 5 and 3 make 8. 2 and 3 make 5. Yeah, that looks like that checks out. Check. There we go. Okay, and we got our answers. So remember, if you need to include your units, don't forget to put those units in there. I didn't just because it's less work. But if your teacher needs you to have units to get the fully correct answer, don't forget to do that, or they will count you off. Teachers do that sometimes. Yes, I said do. Teachers do that sometimes. So just be sure that you're giving the answer in the way that the teacher wants to see it. Or if you need to list out your answer as like a sentence or anything really fancy like that, make sure you remember to do that. But those are the answers. That's it for number 3. Um, yeah, that's it. So if you have any other questions, put them in the comments below. If you want to see another worksheet like this or a different question on this worksheet that you haven't seen yet and you can't find it, let me know in the comments below. Also in the description below is where I have the link to my website, which has a bunch of other free resources on it, and my email if you want to reach out to me for tutoring. All right, so have a great day, y'all. Catch you in the next video.